Stories and legends from ancient Sicily. This story is called Tredicino. Once upon a time, there was a father who had 13 sons, and the smallest was called Tredicino. The father was poor and could only provide food for his sons by picking vegetables to make soup. And the mother, to make the sons hurry up, always said to them, "Whoever gets here first will eat the soup hot." And Tredicino was always the first to get back. And the mother always gave him the hot soup. And for this reason, his brothers despised him and did everything they could to get rid of him. One day, the king said that whoever was brave enough to get Father Dragon's duvet would receive a bag of gold coins. And Tredicino's brothers go to the king and say, Your Majesty, we have a brother called Tredicino, and he's able to do this and lots more." And the king says, "Bring him here then." And so they bring him Tredicino, who says, "Your Majesty, how will I get Father Dragon's duvet? I'm going to be eaten as soon as he sees me." "There's no excuses. You have to go," says the king. "I know that you are brave, and you have to succeed in this quest." So Tredicino leaves and goes to the dragon's house. Father Dragon wasn't there, and Mother Dragon was in the kitchen. So Tredicino tiptoes in and hides under the bed. And in the evening, Father Dragon comes home, eats, goes to bed and says, "I smell human meat. As soon as I'll see it, that's what I'll eat." And Mother Dragon replies, "Be good, no one's been here." And the dragons start snoring, and Tredicino pulls on the duvet bit. The Father Dragon wakes up and says, "Who's there?" And Tredicino says, "Meow, meow," as if he was a cat. And Mother Dragon says, "Shoo, shoo," and claps her hands. And they both fall asleep again. Then Tredicino gives a big pull, takes the duvet and runs away. And the dragon heard him running, and in the dark he recognizes him and says, "I see you. You're Tredicino, I'm sure of it." Some time passes, and the king makes another announcement. "Whoever is able to get Father Dragon's horse will receive 2 bags of gold coins." And Tredicino presents himself to the king again and asks for a bag of honey. And with this, he leaves and arrives at the dragon's house during the night. He goes in without being heard and goes into the stable. The horse sees him and starts neighing, but Tredicino gives him some honey and says, "See how sweet it is? If you come with me, I'll take you to my master and he'll give you lots more." Then he gives him some more and says, "Let me ride you and I'll show you the way." And so he rides the horse, gives him the rest of the honey, and takes him to the king. And the king made another announcement. He would give 2 bags of gold coins to whoever brought him the dragon's bedside. And Tredicino says, "Your Majesty, how do you do that? The bedside is all full of bells, and you know that as soon as you breathe, the dragon will wake up." "I don't know anything," says the king. "I only know that I want his bedside, and I don't care what it takes to get it." And so Tredicino leaves and goes to hide under the dragon's bed. At midnight, he reaches out a hand, but all the bells start ringing. "Who's there?" says Father Dragon. "It's nothing," answers Mother Dragon. "It must have been the wind that made them ring." But Father Dragon is suspicious. He pretends to fall asleep and listens closely. Tredicino reaches out again And bam! The dragon reaches out and catches Tredicino. You're trapped now. I'm going to make you pay for the first, second, and third time you stole from me. He picked Tredicino up, put him in a barrel, and started feeding him raisins and dried fruit. And one day he said to him, Tredicino, show me one of your fingers, and let me see how much you've fattened up. Tredicino found a mouse's tail and held it out to the dragon. How skinny are you? Said the dragon. And you smell too. Eat, son. Take these raisins and dried fruit, and hurry up in getting fat. And after a few days, the dragon called him again and asked him to show him his finger. Tredicino showed him the tip of a spindle. Oh, you're still so skinny. Eat. Hurry up and get fat. After about a month, Tredicino ran out of things to show the dragon, and so he had to give him his finger. And the dragon started screaming with joy, He's fattened up! He's fattened up! And Mother Dragon comes in, and Father Dragon says to her, Quick, Mother Dragon, warm up the oven for 3 days and 3 nights. And while you do that, I will go and get our family, and we can have a great feast with Tredicino. So Mother Dragon warmed up the oven for 3 days and 3 nights. And after that, she took Tredicino out of the barrel and said, Come here, Tredicino. We have to put you in the oven. And Tredicino went near the oven and said to her, Oh, Mother Dragon, there's a black thing in the corner over there in the oven. What is it? And Mother Dragon leaned in, but couldn't see anything. Lean in more, says Tredicino. Otherwise you won't be able to see it. And as soon as she leans in a bit more, Tredicino pushes her into the oven and shuts the door with a metal bar. Once cooked, he takes her out, cuts her in half, cuts the legs into pieces, and places them on the table. Then he takes the top half of her body, places it in the bed under the covers, and ties a piece of string to her chin. When the dragon comes back with the guests, he finds the plates already on the table. Then he goes to the bed and says, Mother Dragon, would you like to eat? And Tredicino pulls the strings, and Mother Dragon lifts her head. Are you tired? And Tredicino pulls on the strings to make Mother Dragon nod her head. One of the guests pulled on the covers by accident and saw that Mother Dragon was dead and cut in half. And she instantly started screaming, Traitor! Traitor! And everyone rushes to the bed, and in all the chaos, no one notices Tredicino slip away and run to the king with the bedside and all of the dragon's most treasured possessions. And as soon as he sees him, the king says, Listen, Tredicino, to complete your quest, I want you to bring me Father Dragon alive. But how, your majesty? Replied Tredicino. Then he thought about it and said, Leave it to me, your majesty. And so he gets someone to build him a nice, very resistant chest, dresses up as a monk with a long fake beard, and he goes to the hill beside the dragon's house. And as soon as he gets there, he starts shouting and calling the dragon. Do you know someone called Tredicino? He killed our father. If I catch him, I will shut him in this chest. And in hearing these words, the dragon comes nearer and says, And I want to help you catch that killer. You don't even know what he's done to me. And he starts telling his story. But how shall we do it? Asked the fake monk. I don't know, Tredicino. Do you? Yes, I do. So, Father Dragon, tell me, how tall is he? Well, he's about the same as me. Okay, let's try something out then, says Tredicino. Let's see if you can fit into this chest. And Father Dragon gets in. Now, Father Dragon, check if there's any holes in it. No, there's no holes. Wait, let's see if it shuts properly. And in that moment, Tredicino shuts the chest and carries it on his shoulders, running towards the city. Stop! Stop! And Tredicino runs faster and laughing. And once they arrive at the king's palace, the king ties the dragon in chains and leaves him to rot in the dungeon. Then he gave Tredicino as many riches and treasures as he could, and from that day on, he always wanted him by his side.